talk about when we can play Black Ops 6. Black Ops 6 was revealed a little earlier last week, and since then we've had a ton of things to discuss and mention about the game upcoming. From campaign, multiplayer details, general overhauls, and returning features and more, today I want to talk a little bit about the times that we, like you and I, can actually get hands-on playtime with the game. For me, I always suggest wait until the open betas to do anything with your money, either saving it or deciding, hey, I like this game enough to buy it. Not just listening to some random idiot like me on the internet saying, hey, you might like this game. You'll know for sure. So knowing when these hands-on periods are and what to expect is always important, I think. So today we're running down when you can expect to see these playable periods of Black Ops 6 and how you can get into them. As we go along, drop your thoughts down below. If you guys enjoyed the video, you find it at all insightful, do me a favor and drop a like on it. And if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss a single thing regarding all things Black Ops 6, X-Defiant, and more FPS content here on the channel. I would love to have you in the community as we chase down 600,000 subscribers. But for now, let's talk about these playable periods of Black Ops 6 and this early access we have upcoming. So let's start out with the probably biggest one here that people will care about. When can we play Black Ops 6 multiplayer? Well, unfortunately, it's going to be a little bit of time from now until when we play this. But at the same time, that's when it really kicks off the sort of launch festivities, because we are getting close at that point to when we can play the game fully. But anyways, multiplayer is going to be shown off at COD Next this year once again for a third straight year. That's already been announced officially. That's going to take place on August 28th. That's when the multiplayer reveal is. Historically speaking, players around the world can jump into the beta the following day. Now, is that a guarantee? No. In fact, it actually appears that it could be changing this year, where it may go live immediately following COD Next, or at least according to some Game UK internal documentation. That is stated that it will start on August 28th and go until September 3rd. Now, again, this could be something that is wrong. It could still be the day following, as we've seen the last 2 years, but it also would be in line with what we've seen in that sort of relative time frame, even though it'd be 12 to 24 hours earlier than what we'd normally see at launch at. So I'm kind of surprised that that might be the case, but if it's not that same day, historically, again, the precedent has been the following day. So if not a guarantee in terms of a dead bullseye on when that date is, it's at least a solid marker and something you can look towards as a sort of milestone here, if not a tell-all of when to expect it. Now, there's a little bit that's different about the beta this year. The biggest, of course, is that there's no exclusivity. My guess, that near full week that is mentioned is going to be split up into front-loaded as pre-orders and then a full open weekend instead of a platform split between 2 weekends. So we'd normally see 4 or 5 days in 2 consecutive weekends, both of those, of course, having their early access periods being for pre-orders only, but broken up where PlayStation ends up having 2 weekends versus Xbox and PC only having 1. Instead, with this now being just about a week span of when this beta will be live, according to those leaked internal documents. Now, to get access to this, again, you can either wait for the open beta, in which case it will be available for everybody. You just have to download it via storefront. But to get early access to the whole thing and have those first couple of days, that's done by pre-ordering the game. It's stated in their official blog post, every version of the game, including every digital and physical edition, will grant you early access to the Black Ops 6 open beta later this year. Get an early look at multiplayer featuring that signature Black Ops multiplayer experience with brand new maps and a stocked armory of impressive weapons, and experience key innovations including the new Operator Omni movement system while battling through new enemies and surprises. Now, of course, pre-ordering is one of those things that, again, I don't really like to recommend. I personally think you shouldn't do anything with your money until you get some hands-on experience, so it's like a chicken or the egg type of thing here. But the nice part is that they do give out a ton of codes, either from their socials, like Twitch drops, stuff like that, that you're probably going to have the opportunity to end up getting one. And a lot of the times they even come with friend codes. So if you end up redeeming it, you'll get 3 here out of that, I think is what they usually do. So if you have a friend that gets one, you might be able to get one off of them, or you can do the old mom and pop trick, put $5 down at a GameStop or something like that, then cancel your pre-order afterwards once you get the download. That's the way it's always worked, and something that can help you out. You don't have to commit the full amount like you would if you paid for it digitally. But anyways, what is nice for Xbox players, if you have Game Pass, I want to say it's Ultimate, PC, and Core, you don't even need to pre-order the game to take part in a pre-order segment of the beta, however long that will run. It's included with that, so you can take part in both the open and the pre-order early access, even if you don't actually pre-order it, so long as you're on an Xbox console and you again have Xbox Game Pass. But that's something that might not be for everybody, but that's the multiplayer beta later this year. But what about campaign early access? Because right now nothing is confirmed, but based off the last 2 years and the fact that we've seen a hint towards this, I'd say early access for campaign is also something that is likely, where we can play the game and the campaign in full early before the game actually launches. When you look at the official pre-order blog, it details everything you can get from every version of the game. Sure, nice. But for our discussion here, it's also important to note that they say additional benefits incoming. Combine that with the fact that the PlayStation listing for Black Ops 6 included a release date of October 17th rather than the 25th, which would indicate that something could be happening a week early, which again, historically lines up perfectly with the campaign early access we ended up seeing for Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 3. Now, if that's the case, I'm honestly really excited for this campaign. I loved Cold Wars. I thought Raven absolutely knocked it out of the park with that. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with this one. And fingers crossed, there's a ton of depth to it like the Black Ops Cold Wars campaign, so we'll have plenty of campaign content if that's actually the case. But again, while unannounced, it would not be surprising to see that campaign early access following the success of the last 2 years that did end up giving it early for players that did pre-order. And again, that's something that I truly do think incentivizes a pre-order. If you play the beta at all and you know that you're going to get the game, that's something that would sway me absolutely to be like, okay, I can play this before anything else. But again, only if I know I'm going to get the game. So that's actually a nice pre-order for those that are sure they want to play. And finally, the last thing here talking about early access playable periods and playable builds of the game is a possible, very, very heavy emphasis on possible Zombies early access. This part, absolutely pure speculation. Fully recognize that, but earlier in the year, it was reported that Activision was exploring a multiple week launch date for pre-order incentives, meaning that we'd have various different windows of early access content for the full game. Meaning, in addition to that campaign early access that we've seen beforehand, more content being able to play before that official street and release date. The idea of Zombies being included in that, man, that would be huge. Campaign isn't really anything new at this point. Again, if it happens this year, that's 3 times in the last 3 years that happens, and it's looking like that will be a reality with, again, certain storefronts listing it a week before the street date for the game's launch. But while that takes the week's discussion off the table because the 17th would be that earliest we see it, it's still 1 week early. But that doesn't mean we couldn't see Zombies early access by like 3 to 4 days or something like that in that early week. So you have the first 3 days or so for campaign early access, and then 3 to 4 days out from the launch of the game, you get early access to Zombies, in which case you get a head start on understanding the new Zombies maps, the ability to work on ranking up weapons or even your own overall rank, maybe hitting a prestige or two before the official launch date of the game through Zombies. So that's something that is possible, but absolutely, there's nothing that points towards this explicitly other than it was just reported that they were looking at doing this earlier in the year. So those are your 2, maybe 3 early access portions here that you have the ability to play the game with. One thing that I thought would have been really cool to see happen, but it doesn't appear to be, is an alpha of some kind. Before all of this announced, there was that thought that, okay, maybe an alpha would be exclusively for pre-orders in a shortened 3 to 4 day span as opposed to a whole week or multiple weekends, and then the beta would be exclusively open to maximize exposure. But while this happened with Black Ops Cold War, that doesn't really seem to be the case. There's no indication pointing towards that other than just wishful thinking. If anyone at Microsoft or Activision are willing to throw away hundreds of millions of dollars in a marketing plan and wants to adopt that instead, go for it. Feel free to poach that idea. But anyways, that is your early access periods and when we can play the game here before the game actually launches. So look forward to, at the earliest, late August. Then you'll have some stuff a little bit later on beyond that, just before the game launches, in at least campaign, probably. Maybe, just maybe if we're lucky, also Zombies. But anyways, that is, we're going to wrap the video up. Just want to talk to you guys briefly about some of the playable areas of the game you can look forward to. But let me know your thoughts. Before we wrap everything up, make sure to check out my friends over at Gamer Advantage for what I firmly believe are the best blue light glasses on the market. I've worked with these guys for 3 years now and cannot recommend them enough. They're the most lightweight, comfortable, and durable frames out there as far as I've used, and I definitely think they've helped my daily productivity. Full transparency, they are a bit more of an investment, but I do think your vision's absolutely worth investing into, especially if you're like me and you're looking at a monitor, phone, or gaming for a good chunk of the day, which, as of recording this sponsor read, I'm currently recording like 7 to 11 videos in a single night to try and get ready for this trip I'm going on as of this video being live. But anyways, if you guys are like me, that might be useful to you as well. But if you guys would like to learn more, at the very least, I'd recommend checking out their website where they can better break down the specifics way better than I could. But what I can personally say is that, again, through 3 years of using these guys day in and day out, I'd highly recommend them. So if you'd like to learn more, check the link in the description below. And if you want to pick something up for yourself, use code Espresso to get 10% off your entire order. But for now, that's where we're going to wrap it up. That has been the early access periods that you can look forward to in Black Ops 6. Let me know your thoughts down below. Drop a like if you enjoyed the video, and make sure to subscribe for more Black Ops 6 and other FPS coverage like X Defiant and more. I'd love to have in the community, but for now, thanks so much for watching. Mine has been Espresso. I'll see you later. Take care, and peace.